Are we seeing the end of the Manchester City dynasty?
Bro, I think it's time to worry.
Yeah?
It's feeling...
Okay, but let's not just say that. Can you give me a reason why?
So I think there's a couple of things. I think there's top down and then on the pitch. I'll start with the top down stuff. I'm not it's not even about if I'm a huge fan of it or not, but I'm not liking the way Pep is just handling, media. I like the way he's doing post-match conferences, everything. Just like all the interviews are feeling, I'm feeling a sense of apathy.
Last week of senior year of high school?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't see the excitement and interest. And even when they won their 4th Premier League title last season, and the way he was even talking about that, and when they're asking him about the future, I don't see the drive, what is exciting sort of him anymore. And when you win,
is faded.
When you win so much, you got to find something to like motivate the players and motivate yourself just to go to work.
Yeah.
And that is it. I don't see the interest and excitement that we're used to seeing from Pep. And it might have something to do with the Man City's like trial and everything that they got going on and all the charges, and maybe that there's no way it doesn't affect people at the club, that from the players to the front office to the technical staff. It affects you somehow, but I think they're in a weird place of just like they've won so much, and what is the motivation to keep going? And that's where that's one. So that's
point. The front office part. You think on the pitch?
On the pitch, the game, they've lost 3 games in a row, which we haven't seen since 2018.
2018,
I believe so. And then but the Champions League game against Sporting Lisbon, 4-1. I mean, the other previous 2 games, you lose 2-1. Okay, it is.
They surprised you at the end of something.
They got you. Yeah, anything could happen in a game. 2-1. Unfortunate result, but 4-1. The goals that Sporting Lisbon were scoring were
cutting through them like a hot knife through butter.
Defenders being like, "Oh, I thought you got him." This is not the Man City.
Do yourself a favor. If you haven't seen it, click on the highlights, and what you will see is video after video of people in Manchester City shirts chasing after one guy in a Sporting Club de Portugal shirt.
It's so surreal to see the disorganization of Manchester City in almost any facet of the game, whether it's the 95th minute and everybody's tired. Manchester City, for the last 7 years, seemingly are like they know where to be. Everybody has a responsibility. They win the game by not letting you have the ball. And to see this disorganization, essentially 3 games in a row. I mean, you can sort of understand the League Cup game, like you're not playing your best players and blah blah blah. The Bournemouth match was like, that's a pretty
they
shocking.
didn't get their first shot on target till like the 80th minute in that match.
So maybe some teams are kind of figuring things out, but this Man City Sporting Lisbon game, there's a little bit of the coach that you're facing is obviously going to be the Manchester United coach in just a couple weeks. So there's something on the line, right? There's a little bit of bragging rights, like, hey, let me show you what the Premier League is all about,
it's
Ruben.
Also Champions League. You know what I mean?
And for this performance in a game, it is the question of like, is the dynasty over? It might be a big question. Maybe we're asking a little bit too early. But overall, you have to be concerned about what this season is looking like, because the motivation from the coach and the players just doesn't seem to be there.
Now, let me tell you why I think you might be digging this grave a little early. Okay. Now, every year we say the same thing around this time. Let me take you back to a year ago where Manchester City wins. I think it's something like 1-5, and it's a loss and like 3 draws or 4 draws. And everyone's like, this is it. It's happening. They're not the team they were. They can't play with Erling Haaland. Why did Pep change his system just for one player? And then what happens after Christmas? Every year for this team, they get into 5th gear and they go on a massive stretch where they don't lose a match. Remember when the 115 charges dropped? They went undefeated from that point on. What I'm trying to say is...
Are you saying we need new charges for Man City?
No, that we don't, because then they'll win again. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying Pep Guardiola is a Latin wife. okay? Or girlfriend or mom. But typically it's in a relationship, right?
Sure.
You'll see the toxicity I see from like people like my sister and my aunt, which is I haven't felt any excitement in the last week. I need to start an argument to see if you still love me.
Gotcha.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
This is a common tactic. If you've been in a long-term relationship,
Bro,
this is nothing new.
When my sister's like, I hate this ever, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you guys loved each other last week. And then he buys her purse or he takes her out to a nice meal and suddenly they're back, baby.
All of a sudden, she's lifting the trophy at the end of the season.
Yeah, 100% confetti everywhere. Okay? And what I'm saying is he went out and got you a new signing, which is a purse, and suddenly you feel refreshed again.
Gotcha.
And everything feels new because that's what you wanted to begin with.
It's just a lull, okay?
Bro, just trying to add a little excitement into the mix, a little drama. Okay. That's all this is. Do not get caught sleeping by this.
That's why Rodri tore his ACL to just
100%.
mix
It's really hard to replace the Ballon d'Or player as well. The Ballon d'Or winner is really hard to replace, by the way. But they remember last year they were two world-class 11s. They don't have that depth this year, right now.
Yeah, and
while you're not going to be able to replace Rodri, you are going to get Kevin De Bruyne back. You're going to get some of these other players back.
And I think
next thing you know, they're winning 5, 6, 7, 8 on the bounce, and we're all saying, "What happened? I thought this was it."
Yeah,
and then they lift the title for a 5th season in a row.
Yeah, and the point you make is just about Kevin De Bruyne. I think, and we're sort of seeing it in this stretch of games. Like Kevin De Bruyne is not necessarily the fastest guy on the field, and now he's not putting in crunching tackles.
Doesn't have to be.
He doesn't have to be, and he is a leader, and he's also mildly a psychopath, and we don't talk about this enough. Kevin De Bruyne we've talked about this a little bit on our show. He is known to scream at Pep when he's upset about certain plays or how the team is playing.
Watch when he turns beet red.
Yeah,
like what's that movie in between the cartoon movie, the Pixar movie, where it's all the emotions? In Behind or something like that.
I forgot the name. I hate that I forgot.
If it was a football movie, In Behind. You know what I'm talking about? Like the cartoon character that blows his top.
Yeah.
Inside Out. Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne becomes that character. I guess it's anger, right? They're all named after emotions. I never saw it. But he becomes that. When he turns beet red, he'll yell at anybody.
Yeah.
Dude, the Pope could be standing next to Pep, and he's like, "Yo, you both are taking it."
The Pope, Pep, I don't care.
Pope,
I don't care.
Pep,
y'all getting it.
Popovich is there. Everybody's getting it.
So, shout out to everybody watching on OneFootball. We appreciate it. We are the Cooligans. Go subscribe to the Cooligans on YouTube right here in the description. Thank you again for tuning in. Peace.